Welcome back everybody to Rosso Gold Series release number 5. I'm your host, Nelson Fu. Now the next few releases, they're going to be really exciting because they're my price fighters. But just because they are just a little less expensive does not mean there's a drop in quality. The stories are just as exciting, and these coffees, they make fantastic cups. So this month's release is Hacienda La Papaya Oak Barrel Sidra. This is another amazing coffee from Ecuador. La Papaya is owned and operated by Juan Peña. He's been recognized as a top producer in Ecuador and throughout the world, with many of his coffees being brought to barista competitions. But here's a fun fact about La Papaya. Juan actually began growing coffee just 11 years ago. After a disastrous rose harvest, he decided to diversify the crop at La Papaya and he started farming coffee. Today, for our brew, I'm going to be using the KALITA WAVE. I think to get a good cup, it requires a certain thickness of the bed depth. So we're going to be making a little bigger cup than we usually do. This is going to be 21 grams of ground coffee. This is on the medium coarse setting. So our grinder goes to 11. This is on 8. We're going to be using 350 grams of 96-degree water. This brew is 5 pulses total. It's going to bloom 50 grams. I'm going to get all my water in relatively quick. And then we're going to wait 30 seconds. So for this brew recipe, after our 50-gram bloom, we're going to do 75 grams every 30 seconds or so. We're going to let most of the brew water drain out before adding the next pulse. So I'm almost at 30 seconds here. I'm going to be adding 75. So at 1 minute here, I'm going to add another 75. This is going to bring me to 200. And then I'm going to wait for most of my brew water to drain out. That should take approximately 30 seconds. So the varietal Sidra was created in Ecuador by crossing 2 other varietals. So we used to think that Sidra was a cross between Bourbon and Típica. And by we, I mean the coffee community. You can Google Sidra right now, and most websites will tell you that Sidra is a cross between Bourbon and Típica. But most recently, just this year, a study came out from the World Coffee Research Institute, and they have found out genetically Sidra is more related to the Ethiopian landrace varietal. Coffee's always changing, and that's what's great about it. So my final pour here, we're going to go to 350. So we do just start in the middle and do slow circles outwards until we hit our weight. Now the fermentation for this coffee, the process begins as whole cherries and they are loaded into used oak rum barrels. Now because oak is quite porous, this fermentation method allows small amounts of oxygen to pass through the barrel, and this lets the coffee absorb some of those flavors from the oak barrel. So for me, Sidra always has this nice, crisp, fresh acidity. I usually think of this as green grapes or red apple. But because of the oak barrel, I think there's a little more sweetness going on. So we're getting more pineapple and tamarind flavors. So my brew is just about done here. It's going to be a total brew time of 3:15. Perfect. Well, time to taste. But you know what? I'm just not quite done making cocktails yet. So here's another one. Thanks for joining me on another Rosso Gold series. I'll be enjoying this one on the beach. Thanks for watching.